The Tower of London stood resolute against the dreary skies, its ancient stones steeped in history, blood, and sorrow. Whispers of its haunted past echoed through the halls, where countless lives met tragic ends. On a stormy night, three friends, Emma, Jake, and Sarah, decided to explore the notorious fortress, drawn in by tales of restless spirits that roamed its darkened corridors. As they crossed the drawbridge, the wind howled menacingly, sending shivers down their spines. Their laughter masked the unease in their hearts, a facade quickly waning as they stepped inside the dimly lit fortress. Cold air wrapped around them like a shroud, thickening with every step they took. It was rumored that cages of ravens, a symbol of foreboding, guarded the tower. Legend had it that when the last raven left, the tower would crumble. The trio wandered through the White Tower, where the ancient stones seemed to breathe in the eerie silence. Shadows flitted between the heavy stone walls, playing tricks on their minds. Emma, the most skeptical of the group, scoffed at the legends, while Jake and Sarah exchanged nervous glances. "Look, isn't that just a reflection?" Emma pointed dismissively toward a flickering light at the end of the hallway. Jake, who had a fondness for history, recounted tales of the tower's past, Anne Boleyn's execution, the tragic fate of Lady Jane Grey, and the countless other souls lost within these walls. As he spoke, the temperature dropped, and a cold gust of wind swept through the corridor, extinguishing their flashlights, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in, and Sarah fumbled to pull out her phone. Its screen illuminated their frightened faces just as a distant echo reached their ears, an unearthly wail that sent chills racing down their spines. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. They pressed deeper into the tower, drawn by a mix of fear and curiosity. The unsettling wails grew louder, morphing into anguished cries. Emma, still doubting, urged them to press on. "It's just the wind," she insisted, though her voice wavered. They reached a grim chamber, where the remains of the old scaffold stood, a grim reminder of the executions that had taken place. Suddenly, a figure flickered at the threshold, a pale woman in a flowing white dress, her face a mask of sorrow. The friends froze, unable to comprehend the spectral vision before them. "It's her," Jake gasped, recognizing the ghostly figure as Anne Boleyn, her haunting eyes piercing through them. "She's looking for something." The air grew heavy, suffocating in its intensity. Anne raised a trembling finger, pointing toward the far wall, her mouth moving in silent pleas. Emblazoned on the stones was a faded engraving, half obscured by shadows, a date, and below it, the words, "Forgiven at last." Suddenly, the spectral wails crescendoed, a chorus of anguished souls joining Anne's lament. Faces twisted in despair emerged from the walls, the lost spirits of the tower. They drifted closer, their ghostly forms unable to break free from the shackles of their tragic endings. The cries reverberated around them, and an oppressive sorrow filled the chamber. Emma, now pale and trembling, gasped, "We need to leave." Jake grabbed Sarah's hand, pulling her toward the exit as the temperature plummeted and the ghosts reached out, their hands brushing against the living. Each touch sent a jolt of electricity through their veins, imparting a wave of despair that threatened to drown them. Finally escaping the chamber, they rushed down the corridor, the wails growing fainter as they neared the exit. Shivering, they burst through the heavy doors, collapsing on the drawbridge, panting and gasping for breath. As the storm outside raged on, they glanced back at the tower, where ghostly lights flickered in the windows, the anguished cries echoing in their minds. They understood then that the Tower of London was not merely a relic of history, it was a tomb, a haunting sanctuary for the souls trapped within, forever crying out for resolution. From that night on, the friends carried a piece of the tower with them, a chilling reminder that some ghosts never rest and that history, with all its sorrow, is never truly buried.